I'm going to start number 1, work my way to 16. So you go with me. I'm going to go through everything. And this is the point, if you have questions, you need to stop me and ask. Okay? So number 1 is Ni2 Se5. So whenever I look at this, first thing I do, count my number of elements. So in this I have 2 elements. Since I have 2 elements, there's no charge there, then I know that it's not a polyatomic, so I look at the 2 elements, and I notice something. Nickel is a metal, bonded with selenium, which is a nonmetal. So I know I have an ionic bond. Since I have an ionic bond, I'm going to use its rules, but I need to distinguish between which set to use. So I look at the first element. The first element is going to tell me everything I need to know. Is that element from columns 1 or 2? So I look, no. Nickel, atomic number 28, and it's in the 10th column, which means nickel is a transition metal, which tells me I need to use the stock system. Whenever I need the stock system, this is what I like to do. I like to go ahead and write the names down, and then just put the parentheses in there for me to fill the charge in. So the first one, nickel. I'm going to put parentheses so I can fill my charge in. And then the second element is atomic number 34, which is selenium. But remember the rules with this. You have to name that anion like you would the monatomic. So selenium, we have to remove the ending, the IUM, and add IDE. Now we have to figure out the charge. How are we going to figure the charge out of the transition metal? Where do we look? We have to look at the anion, seleniumide. It doesn't even roll off my tongue well.
Yeah, I thought it was wrong to do that. Yeah, you check the column that has selenium.
Which is 16th column, which means what's the charge on the selenium? -2. So this is what I do. I take -2, multiply by how many of those I have. 5. So -2 times 5 equals -10. That -10 is my overall negative charge, which means the positive has to be equal to the same number. So their overall positive charge has to be a +10. The reason I know that is because before, there's no charge up here. So that means the negatives and the positives are balanced out. So I just changed the sign to +10, but now I need to find the charge of each one of the nickels. So I divide this by however many nickel I have, which is 2. +10 divided by 2 is? Very nice. 5. That's the charge of the nickel. I know what you're thinking. Well, Mr. Hall, you got 5 down next to selenium. Why can't you just reverse the cross? Don't do that. That doesn't always work. It will work 90% of the time. I can't remember which practice sheet it was I gave you, but literally on those practice sheets, there is one it does not work with. Yes, Emily?
Whenever you multiply the -2 and the 5, why did you change the charge?
One more time.
Whenever you multiply that -2 and the 5, why did you change the -10 to a 10?
Okay, that's because the -10 is the overall negative charge. So the overall positive charge has to be equal to that. So the selenium, the selenide, is what's given the -10. So I know the nickel has to account for the same amount but positive. So it has to account for a +10. So I just change that sign and then divide by the 2 to find out the charge of one of the nickel.
So anytime you have a negative and you multiply it like that, do you change the charge?
Yes, with these transition metals. So number 2. Number 2 is a doozy. Number 2 is a good one. I'll tell you why number 2 is a good one. Let me double check before I put my foot in my mouth. Okay, I'm good. Number 2 is not on here. I done gave it away to you to the polyatomic. This is how I know it's a polyatomic. How many elements I got up there? 2. I look on my periodic table. AS is what? Arsenic. Is it a metal or a non-metal? And oxygen is a non-metal. So 2 non-metals, but there's a charge. So 2 non-metals and a charge tells me what? Polyatomic ion. So I know this is a polyatomic. Since it's a polyatomic ion, I'm going to use my oxyanion rules, especially because this has oxygen in it, so it makes it simple for me. I have no idea, well I do, but let's pretend I don't have an idea of what ASO53 negative is. I go back to the root ion. The root ion has arsenic and oxygen in it. Arsenate. Arsenate is a chemical symbol because I memorized it. ASO43 negative. Now I make comparisons. If you go back to your oxyanion rules, the comparison is in terms of the oxygens. So I look here, I have 5 oxygens in this one and 4 in this one. So I've added an oxygen to the root ion, which means I add a prefix. Per arsenate. I am recording this and I will upload this to YouTube so you can have it and go back and play it again.
Hi, future me.
Hey, Thomas.
Oh, I forgot about that. I still
Thomas told me that in my physics class every day. It's if you got to watch their graduation, it was pretty cool because whenever he went out to give his speech, he looked and he started off and he said, "Hi, future me," and the whole group went, "Hi, Kevin." And then at the end of his speech, he ended it by going, "Bye, future me." And everyone was like, "Bye, Kevin," and that made me cry. It really was. It was very sad. I'm going to tear up right now. Sorry. Good memory. Anyway, number 3. Number 3 is a trick. Why is number 3 a trick?
Because it's a diatomic.
It's a diatomic. You just happen to see it. What's the giveaway that I gave you a diatomic?
You need to know your
Know your 7
diatomics.
diatomics.
Another 7 diatomics, but here's the dead giveaway. It's one element that has a 2 next to it, and there's no charge.
One of them is squared.
Logarithm of chlorine. Still don't know how to do those. She showed me how to do
Because it's the diatomic, so it's not an anion. Good question.
Yeah, what's the L? What element is L? Because I know C is cool. Never mind. It's not
I don't
that.
think there is an L.
Okay.
I don't think it's just an L.
Oh, never mind.
Hey, number 4. Number 4, we look at it. Or is it doozy? When you look at number 4, I have 2 elements. with no charge. First element, carbon's a nonmetal, chlorine's the second element, it's a nonmetal. So I have a nonmetal and a nonmetal with no charge. So this is what I do. I look at the first element. First element tells me what I need to do. First element is carbon, not hydrogen. Since it's not hydrogen, that means this is not a binary acid. It means it's a binary covalent molecule. Therefore, use your prefixes. So, 3, tri, carbon. Remember when you're doing these prefixes of covalent molecules, we do not change the ending of the first element. Second one, 7. I did this one on purpose. Anybody know what 7? Hepta.
Which means liver too.
Hepta, chlor. It's chlorine, but we remove the ending, that INE, and add IDE. Tricarbon heptachloride. That one's easy. If you notice, you need to use your prefixes. Can I point something out to you?
Yes.
On this one, I had a hammer. Did I use a hammer on problem 2? No. I put my hammer back in my toolbox and I got a screwdriver out. Number 3, I looked and was like, oh. On number 3, I put the screwdriver up, and then I looked and I was like, oh, well, okay, that's fine. I just pull out, a drill. I'm changing. I'm doing this to you on purpose. I want you to start processing. We're going to change these. Every step of the way, we're changing these. Don't get stuck to what we just did here. This is the trap kids fall into. This is what I'm trying to break out of you. You used prefixes here, so now we're going to go to number 5 and use the prefixes. No. Don't do that. Every problem, throw what you did on the last one away. We're going back.
When you talk about toolbox, there's only one thing I can imagine.
What?
Handy mandy. The little tools that come and help him. And it's like, you got the little tools that come and help you.
I've actually thought about this that next year. I had this good idea yesterday. It hit me. That next year what I'm going to do is I'm going to set something up. I'm going to bring my tools in and I'm going to have people, I'm going to hand them a tool and tell them to do something, and it's the wrong tool to do it with, and I'm going to have the right tool, and I'm going to come in and do it. And it's like, after doing it a couple times, it's like, so the right tool for the job matters. Yeah. Same thing with nomenclature. I know it doesn't make sense to you, but the education thing in me says it would work perfect.
They should force
Number 5.
sophomores to do
HCr. So, 2 elements. I have hydrogen, which is a nonmetal. Even though it's to the left of the staircase, it's the one exception. Hydrogen is a nonmetal. Then I have bromine, which is to the right of the staircase, which is a nonmetal. I have 2 nonmetals, no charge, which means first element tells me what I need to do. I look at the first element. First element is hydrogen. There's an alarm going off right now which says it is an acid. How do I know it's an acid? Hydrogen is first.
My mommy loves hydrogen.
In this case,
I'm sorry, I had to say that one.
in this case, there's 2 elements. First one's hydrogen, which means it is a binary acid. Therefore, I use binary acid rules. Prefix, hydro. Then I look at the second element, I keep the root of it. The second element's bromine, so it's brome. I take the INE off, and I add ic acid.
I got that one right.
Me too, dog.
Good job.
I gotta pick up the pace. Number 6. Number 6, I did this to be kind to you. How many elements are up here?
3.
There's 3, which means there's a what?
Poly.
There's a polyatomic ion somewhere. You have to find it. In this case, I made it simple for you because there's parentheses. Here's your polyatomic ion. When I say find it, I'm moving nowhere else until I have the name of the polyatomic ion. I have phosphorus and oxygen, oxyanion rules. I'm going to the root ion first, phosphorus and oxygen. I know phosphate.
We know that too because we studied. Yeah.
Phosphate is PO4 3 negative. Make a comparison. There's 4 oxygens in phosphate, there's 3 oxygens in this one. There's 1 less oxygen. I remember from my rules, the ending of the name changed when I lost 1 oxygen to iron. So now I know that that polyatomic is phosphite. Now, I look at the first element. First element tells me everything I need to know. First element's not hydrogen, so it's not an oxyacid. First element, does it come from columns 1 or column 2?
No.
No. So then I look, third option. Is it a metal that's a transition metal?
Yes.
Yes. So that means we're going to use stock. So in this, I'm going to name it as I had the others. I need the charge. I'll find the charge here in a moment. I want to make sure I spell it right. Vanadium. Phosphite. Parentheses there for my charge. So vanadium phosphite. I have to find the charge on vanadium. How am I going to find the charge on vanadium?
What's the anion?
Look at the anion, but in this case it's not an anion, it's a polyatomic ion. You're thinking right. I like it. So we're going to look here at that polyatomic ion. So we'll make some comparisons here. What's the charge on phosphite?
3 negative.
So we got a -3 times how many phosphites we got?
4.
There's 4. I've had a lot of questions and a lot of y'all give me a bunch of blank stares. This parentheses is telling me that's phosphite. That 4 outside the parentheses are saying 4 phosphites. That goes for the whole molecule. -3 times 4 equals?
-12.
-12. That's the overall negative. What's the overall positive got to be?
Positive 12.
Positive 12. So what do I do?
Just change from a negative to a positive.
Change it from a negative to a positive, and then we divide by how many vanadiums we got, which is positive 12 divided by 3 is 4. So we know our charge is now 4. Now go to number 7. Looking at number 7, when we look at it, there's 2 elements here. Calcium and there's nitrogen, right? Now look at my 2 elements. The first one, calcium, is it a metal or a non-metal?
Metal.
Metal. It's a metal, and nitrogen is a non-metal. A metal and a non-metal means that it is an ionic bond, so I'm going to use those rules. But I got to look at the first element. My first element's calcium. Does that come from column 1 or column 2?
Column 2.
Comes from column 2, so we're going to use that set of rules, which is name the monatomics and combine their names, which is very easy. Calcium is just calcium. The cations are named the same as the element. Then we have nitrogen, which is nitride. Why did I not use the stock system?
Because it wasn't transition metal.
It's not a transition metal. Calcium has a fixed charge. I don't need the stock system. Look at number 8. Number 8 has 3 elements, which screams what to you? Polyatomic ion. We got to find the polyatomic ion. Where is the polyatomic ion? BrO3. So I use my rules, remembering what Br and O would be is bromate.
A bro and a mate.
What's the chemical formula for bromate? Correct, BrO3 negative. So, now we look at the first element. The first element tells me everything. It's hydrogen, which means
It's an acid.
it's an acid. So therefore, we just use the oxyacid rules. We have the polyatomic. We just changed the name. So this is, we remove 8 and add ic acid.
Don't you add hydro as well?
Nope. Hydro is just for binary. Hydrobromic acid is HBr. Bromic acid is HBrO3. There is a difference. Listen, bell's getting ready to ring. I don't want to quite jump over here. I will work those, okay? I will work those and include them in the video. Is this helping you? Do you see how I'm having to, I'm not looking and saying, okay, I use the stock system here, so I use the stock system here. It doesn't work that way. You have to break yourself. I know this is difficult. I know this is hard. And I know that me and some of your other teachers are beating a stone brick wall right now. Because this is what you've done for year after year after year after year. We are not mad at you. I'm not upset with you. If you're mad at me or upset with me, it's okay. I love you. I'm doing this for your own good. Because I have to break you to where you start looking at the situation. For those of you that signed up for physics, this is just increasingly huge, mega important. Every time you hit a problem, you have to treat it as if it's new. And sometimes in physics problems, halfway through, we have to treat it like it's new. Joy to the world. It's a wonderful thing, especially when we get into two dimensions. It's great. You have to break yourself. Every problem on that quiz, every time you come to a new one, forget what you did on the last one, start from fresh. Count the number of elements. That tells you where to start. Because what's the trick? The polyatomic ions. Those are the ones that are going to trip you up. If you have questions, message me. Be looking for messages from me on Remind. Okay? And you can do this. I believe in you. There's something special about your class I haven't seen for a while. Don't lose that. You can do this. I believe in you. If I don't see you, have a great, wonderful weekend. Yes. Okay.
So that's to balance out.
So they can't.
So,
they cancel.
hopefully you have these by now wrote down.
Because then.
So this is what I want to do. I literally just want to work through these. Okay? I just want to work through them.
You get one.
And I'm going to show you every step we go. I'm not using the same tool. Don't get in the habit of trying to use the same tool. So 1 through 8 I did in first period, which if you're watching the video online, it doesn't make a lot of sense because it's literally just tagged right in with it. So let's get started.
Carbonite. Carbonite is a big difference. Carbonite.
Number 9.
HCl.
So number 9 is hydrochloric acid. So here's the key to this.
Is titanium Ti? I kept one.
I thought it was just T.
Is it just T?
I might be wrong.
It's T.I. It's T.I.
Yeah.
So hydrochloric acid, the key to this is the word
Oh,
acid. So the word acid tells me I'm dealing with one of the two different types of acids. It's either a binary acid or an oxyacid. And the key is looking at the prefix. So let's look at the first thing. There's the prefix hydro. There's only one type of acid we use hydro for, and that is with binary acids. So I know it's binary acid, so I know it's hydrogen and some other element. So I have hydrogen and some other element, and to get that, I just look at the root, which is right here, chlor. So chlor comes from chlorine. HCl, hydrochloric acid.
Okay, that ain't bad.
Next one is fun.
It don't look fun.
I think it's blast.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
All I've got from it is that it's going to be an acid.
What?
It's going to be an acid because of
Which
hypo.
one?
But there's two different.
No, it's not an acid.
It's not?
Doesn't end in acid. No. Titanium,
Ah, my lips are happy.
charge,
It's four.
hypocarbonite. What words end in ite?
Polyatomic ions. Or what?
Polyatomics.
Oxyanions.
So, ite tells me I have polyatomic ions. We got to figure out what the polyatomic ion, what the chemical formula in charge for that polyatomic ion is. So we have to look at hypocarbonite. So carbonite, that's the root ion is carbonate. So carbonate is CO3, 2 minus. You all right?
Don't look at me.
John, you good, bud?
So the prefix hypo tells me it's 2 fewer oxygens than the root ion. So that means it's 2 fewer oxygens, so we're dealing with CO 2 minus. Now I just look, the first bit right here tells me the charge of the titanium, so I have Ti, it's positive 4.
Dang.
I don't know
Okay.
why everybody made it up to be that bad.
So, now we cross them. I want you to notice something here. This is going to get good.
Is that a 4 plus?
Yeah, 4 plus. So I get Ti, 2 from up here. Then I have a 4 coming down. So can I do this?
No, because that's
Why?
that's
Because then
4
that would be
oxygen.
the
That ain't the whole element.
carbonate.
Because that is percarbonate. This is percarbonate. That is not telling me 4 hypocarbonites. You have to put these in parentheses whenever you need multiple. Now that's saying 4 hypocarbonites. But that's a 2, that's a 4. We can simplify. That 2 becomes a 1, that 4 becomes a 2.
Okay, that's how you do that. Okay. So I did that wrong, but got it right.
Yeah.
3. I guess I kind of got it. I kind of did it the right way. In a sense.
Now, if we forget to simplify, is that like point
Yep.
off?
Yes.
Now,
Wrong.
remember how that makes so much sense as to how you actually do that? Because I did not know how to do that. You know, that's like one of the things I was like, oh.
So what I'm picking up from all of this is that I just need to learn my polyatomics.
Yes.
That's
yes,
important.
Yes, yes.
Cool.
Hey, I use binary acid rules here. Should I use binary acid rules here?
No.
No.
No, look what I did. I put everything away that I just did. And I started on the new problem.
They're just high.
Look at number 11.
No.
Barium iodide. So barium iodide.
I forgot what iod means.
Barium, metal or non-metal?
Non-metal.
I thought it was a metal, but I might be wrong.
Non-metal.
It's probably not metal. There's
The
some
metal is on the left side of the periodic table.
To the left of the
Come on,
staircase
y'all.
are what?
Metal.
Metals. Barium is number 56.
That includes this.
Oh, it is metal.
Just not
Todd's
that.
right.
Barium is a metal.
That's over on the right.
Not that one.
Good job.
Not this
So,
one.
this is why this
Not that
looks this way. It's very simplistic.
Not that one.
Barium, iodide. These are the easy ones.
Not that
Barium has a fixed charge. B,
Not that one.
A, 2 plus. Where did the 2 plus from?
Second column.
It's in second column. Iodide comes from iodine, which is I. What's its charge?
3 negative.
3 negative.
1 negative.
Wait.
1 negative.
Yeah, 1 negative.
Where's it at?
Oh,
17.
17 column.
Come on, y'all.
Yeah.
Aaron West to the office.
Bye.
So, iodine, what did you do to my beer, I think?
I do anything.
You zoomed it out.
Come back.
You broke it.
It looks fine.
It looks great.
Yeah, maybe you that's standing right there and don't have old eyes like me.
I can't see him.
Like your own.
I've got a headache right now. And I
How you zooming in?
My eyes are bad, and I don't have glasses on. I can still read
I
it.
haven't had a new prescription in like 3 years.
Well, you get better eyes. Take them out. Put them
Oh, I did it! Look at me! You tap on
Diego Mendoza to the office.
Okay,
it. We have a
so
Diego
negative
in
1.
this
Now we
school?
cross.
Yeah,
So BA
I think it's a new one.
1,
A new Diego.
I 2. Can I stress something to you?
Yeah.
Are you putting charges with these?
No.
Do not put the charges down here. You should not have a negative here and a positive there. These are just the numbers we're taking. Just take the numbers into account.
I can drink water.
Sure.
Let's go.
We did put both. Wait, no, they have one.
All right, number 12. 12 is super simple. This is why 12 is so simple. Take a look at it.
What's the info?
Silicon, tetra. I don't need to do anything else. I see a prefix. Tetra. Did we ever use prefix and something else together? No. If you see a prefix, it tells you what it is. There's no prefix on silicon. What's that mean?
Only one.
There's one, because we don't use mono on the first one. So it's Si.
I'm starting to believe if I'm getting in the matrix. I'm starting to get it.
Awesome.
Like I kind of wasn't getting it.
Tetrafluoride, chemical symbol for fluoride,
F.
F. Tetra is for 4.
Yeah. Self-explanatory.
Anything isn't on.
That one is at least.
Those are the simplest.
Yeah.
Moving up to the top. Chromium 3 phosphide. Gives you the charge. Chromium Cr. Charge 3 plus. Phosphide. P. 3 negative. Now, what we do with the charges?
It is on here.
Cross. Oh.
negative 3 negative.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So cross. Cross. So I get Cr3P3. Am I done?
Can't you simplify?
Simplify. Nice job. Nice catch. So we'll simplify. We'll take that 3 out. I'll move my P closer.
What
So
if
CR, P.
It's a lot easier that you've done this and like worked through it than what I imagined it in my head would be.
Do I use the same rules I used from 12? No.
No.
Break the habit. Break the habit. For 14, iodic acid. Oh, so it's got iodine, so it's HI, right?
No.
Whoa, why?
Because it's acid.
Thank you.
So wouldn't it be an oxy acid?
It's an oxyacid. How do you know it's an oxyacid?
There's no hydrogen.
There is no hydro. Acid. Nothing here. No hydro. Tells me oxyacid. whenever I'm dealing with the oxyacid, here's what I like to do. Do the reverse. We need oxyanion. How do we find the oxyanion?
Make sure to make the distinction of what the fact that it's not a binary acid with hydrogen in the front. Make sure to say what that means. Like that means it has 3 elements instead of 2.
Yes.
And some people may not know
I'm so confused of what word you just said.
Okay.
that. I just wanted because you said that. I just want to make sure that everybody knew why that mattered.
It's a good
That's
point.
my teacher brain coming out.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You're fine.
I am so confused.
Okay, this is what he's saying is oxyacid. Oxyacids have how many elements in it?
1.
3.
3 elements.
Oh gosh.
It goes back to the odds.
What's the first element?
Iodine.
What?
No.
Wait.
Hydrogen. First element in acids are hydrogens. The second and the third come from the polyatomic ion. That's what we're saying. That's what John's bringing up. The binary acid has 2.
If it had been
Oxyacids has 3.
So oxyacid's the more complicated one than the binary. So
Yes.
2 and
if it had been however you say that,
Hydroiodic.
acid, it would have been just HI.
Yeah. But whereas oxyacid, there's a hidden hydrogen.
Yeah, since there's no hydro, there's 3 of them.
Makes
So it's
This is the
hydrogen
thing.
and then the polyatomic.
Makes sense.
This is like work backwards. We're going from oxyacid, we gotta go back to oxyanion. So, where did ic acid come from?
Iodine.
Yeah, but what did we change?
I see 2.
We changed 8 to ic acid.
Yes.
Time out.
And what we changed it to ITE?
It's drugs.
Ain't that right?
Chloroform.
Heisenberg.
Oh, it's getting purple.
That's the thing. You gotta remember the oxyacids. You changed 8 to ic acid and ite to us acid. So now I'm working backwards.
Not your acid.
So then I'm going from ic acid to 8. So I'm looking at IO
Oh, that's a good marker.
date. That's the oxyanion this acid comes from. So now iodate, remember, IO3 negative. Iodate's the root ion, so I don't have to work as hard.
What the heck, man?
Iodate with Mary.
Oh,
You know what the bad thing is I could send her that chemical formula and say, send it to her, and she'd be like, I don't get it. And be like, it's called iodate. Iodate with you later this evening. Dinner for 2, just me and you.
It's dinner for
And
3.
she'll look at me and she'll go, you're a nerd.
It's dinner for 3.
That's the truth.
That's even funnier, John.
Well, it's dinner for 3 now. She's eating for 2.
It's true.
Oh, that is true.
You know what
He's
the weird
pregnant!
thing- Weird thing is, I'm gonna tell you
Yeah,
all this,
and
the
the
weirdest
reveal.
thing in the world is my wife will not
Making
eat
a
things
joke.
that she used to eat. Like, I made chicken last night and she's gagging at it. And throughout our whole marriage, like the
I was gonna say.
protein we eat the most
Chicken,
is
no.
chicken.
That's weird.
Cat has chicken.
She looked at it last night and was like, it's weird. Anyway, so iodate, now we gotta make it an acid. How do I make it an acid?
H.
Add hydrogen to the
Put hydrogen in the front. How many hydrogens I need?
One.
Why just one?
I don't know.
That's all you
I have no idea.
Because it's a negative
Oh.
charge.
Negatively
There's just a -1 charge. That tells me how many I need. There's just a 1 there. So now I erase the 1.
So if it was the hydrogen has to
Oh.
be so
I understand.
Yes.
You know,
Because
I made that
hydrogen-
Whoever
a whole
just
lot
said
more
that.
compli- This is a whole,
Who said
I made
that?
this a whole
You said
thing a
that?
whole lot more
I
complicated than
can't
it
do
needed
the
to be.
acids.
I thought it was more.
That's good. You shouldn't do acid.
Two screws and
Yeah, very good.
Do shrooms instead. They're a lot more simple.
No.
They taste worse, but you can get them in capsules.
Sometimes, not all.
You're gonna have to cut that out.
Carbonic acid can be H2 because it's a 2 negative.
Yes.
Okay, that's the quick.
So, the difference in hydrochloric acid and what?
What is it, Zarber?
I really don't know. I can't differentiate the acids.
Our true God. He's like, he made
How many
the
elements?
crazy rope of take it yourself and tell me you don't see God.
How many elements? You just differentiate.
I said, "They're not."
Differentiate between the names. What's this start with?
I.
Idic. What's this start with?
Hydro.
Hydro is
Hey.
binary. If you see hydro, it is binary.
But if it has acid with it and no hydro, it's an oxyacid. But there's a, because there's a.
Okay, idic acid. Let's do this. Let's do this. That's idic acid, right? What if I put hydro in front?
Then it would be.
Hi.
Hydroidic acid.
It's.
What's hydro tell you?
2.
It's a
binary.
Binary. So what's the first element?
I.
Hydrogen. What's the second element? Iodine.
So it's just high.
So it's high.
Hi.
So
Binary is high.
if it doesn't have hydro in front of it, it's always going to be polyethylene.
Exactly. The acids.
More like
Okay.
because there's 3. That's
So
fun.
it'd be the
That's fun.
same way if you were trying to do the
Not a bit,
opposite. If I was trying to figure out what the name of that was, I would look for the factor that there's 3.
3 of them. Look at the polyatomic.
Can't get rid of hydrogen.
2 of them. Binary. Nice.
One.
I feel like this is beneficial.
It's
It is. Oh,
very
it is.
beneficial.
Okay.
Very.
Now, here's the one that I put up here. I'm proud of some of you because you immediately caught it. And you were making fun of me. Number 15 is a trick.
It's just H, ain't it?
It's just H,
Everybody
yeah.
overthinks
So it's just H.
Okay.
Number 3 over here is also.
2 of them, because it's a diatomic, it is not just H. If you just give me H, it is wrong. It's H2.
Is that one of those like 7 diatomic things?
I definitely had the 2 there. I didn't just put it there.
John.
And I was actually, while you were telling about that, I was like, wow, number 3 is clever.
What's number 16? I can't see.
16 is a really good one.
Oxalate.
Oxalate.
C2.
Anybody want to take a chance at it without looking at the papers?
No. I looked at it earlier. I don't remember that.
I'm going to take so long to
Here's
get
the
that
thing.
one that I'm going to be oxalate for work.
What tool am I using here? I look at this. Oxalate. ATE. It's one word, which means it is a polyatomic ion. Therefore, oxalate is one of those that I have no oxyanion rules I can use to memorize by. I just gotta know it.
I bet it's...
Is it C2O3 negative?
Close. That's oxalate. I also said that. It was wrong.
I was going hang on,
It's O4.
C2O4
Or 2 negative.
I always have trouble with
C2.
He's short. He shrunk.
What?
O4.
How do he do?
2 negative.
Ah, Mr. Krabs.
Back.
You how do?
Back here.
And since I figured out that the 2 negative comes from valence electrons, they just
down there
click.
in the grass. And up here, just a
You know, I never realized that until I had the periodic table.
You'll see it.
Of where those came from.
The mess
find
that
the
my
stairs.
periodic table won't be as soon as it goes down my days.
Yeah, I know,
Hey,
right?
I don't care. Listen, in case you didn't see the reminder, your quiz is Tuesday. But
Thank you, 'cause I
do
did
me a
not-
favor.
Climbing the gate.
No, you just walk through.
Use those practice sheets I gave you and practice these. Do not go home this weekend and do nothing. Because whenever it comes quiz day and you're sitting there and you're staring at it blankly like, this makes no sense. This made sense to you because I'm the one that was handing you the tools out of the toolbox. Hey, there's a nail, we need a hammer, here's a hammer.
Then I give you the wrong tool when you yell at me.
You should